Hello EFD squad and welcome back to Scout Report. Now today we've got a controversial one for you. We're looking at 5 players who you think are good but are actually terrible. Let's get straight into the list. Number 5, Yannick Bolasie. When he arrived at Everton in 2016, Yannick Bolasie was the Toffees' second most expensive player of all time. And while he arrived with a sack full of tricks, he didn't have the end product to justify a £25 million outlay. Already 27 when he signed, Bolasie had made 90 Premier League appearances but had scored just 9 goals and laid on 13 assists. That means the Congolese winger on average took more than 4 games to contribute to a goal, hardly the output you want from your big summer transfer. However, Bolasie produced the best performances of his career in his opening 13 games for Everton, scoring once and assisting 4 times, before he sustained a cruciate ligament injury, ruling him out for over a year. So Everton paid big money for 2 to 3 years of the wide man's prime, and in return, they'll get around half that. Even on top form, the former Crystal Palace man was not an unqualified success. He completed 3.2 dribbles per match, that's pretty damn good, except for the fact that he was attempting 5.8 take-ons, meaning he was losing the ball 2.6 times. Poor touches cost Everton possession another 2.8 times a game. And while he averaged 1.8 chances per appearance, that's a very solid total, over half of Bolasie's shots came from outside the box. As a result, just 30% of his attempts were on target, a shocking rate, and a whole 8% worse than former teammate and world's worst shooter, Andros Townsend. Still, with Everton's attack plodding along at a snail's pace thanks to the leaden feet of Rooney, Sigurdsson and Klaassen, at least Bolasie is fast. For now, anyway. Number 4, Georginio Wijnaldum. Before you get too angry, Liverpool fans, let us explain why Georginio Wijnaldum isn't good enough for your club. The Dutchman was signed for £23 million in 2016 from a relegated Newcastle side. A bad start, and to make matters worse, the former PSV captain seems completely at odds with Klopp's goals at Anfield. The German coach claimed last season that he was building a possession team and would like the Reds to have 90% of the ball. So why continue to play a guy who simply cannot pass? This season, Wijnaldum is averaging just 35 passes per game. By comparison, a forward like Anthony Martial completes more than 50. Wijnaldum's passing ranks him 64th out of 72 Premier League midfielders who've appeared in the Prem so far this season, and that's got worse since last year when he was 40th out of 75. But maybe he's a useful counter-presser. Well, not really. He's completing just 0.7 tackles a match and 0.9 interceptions, meaning only 2 Premier League midfielders make fewer tackles than him and only 12 make fewer interceptions. So I guess we have to assume he's in the side for his attacking contribution, but with 0.6 chances created per game, it's hard to see what he's bringing to Liverpool, especially as Klopp's men take more shots than any other side in the league. Gini's offensive output is about the same as Schneiderlin, Barry and Krychowiak this campaign, and as with passes, tackles and interceptions, makes Wijnaldum the least productive of all Liverpool's mids. Fortunately for the Anfield faithful, Naby Keita is coming to save them next summer, and perhaps Wijnaldum can win a Premier League medal from the bench. Number 3, Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey may one day look back at his amazing 2013-14 campaign and think that it ruined his career. That year, the Welshman bagged 10 goals and 8 assists in the Prem, despite playing under 1,800 minutes, meaning he was involved in a goal every 98 minutes. In 2016-17, Ramsey only scored or assisted every 247 minutes, but all the praise he got for his goal scoring seems to have made him overconfident in the final third. He now takes more shots than ever before, with 3 a match to the 2.5 he took in 2014, but his accuracy is woeful. Where previously a massive 71% of his shots tested the keeper, now just 41% hit the target. In chance creation, the midfielder has remained consistent, hitting the 1.7 mark each game. That's roughly the same as Sadio Mane in his first year with Liverpool. But remarkably, Ramsey played 1,000 minutes less than the Senegalese last year, despite Mane sitting out half the season due to the Africa Cup of Nations and a knee injury. But Ramsey seems to have completely neglected his defensive duties in his desire to get on the scoresheet. In 2013-14, he was 6th in the Prem for tackles completed per game, and in total won possession 4.5 times every 90 minutes. He now manages around a third of that, making fewer tackles and interceptions last year than Leroy Sané and David Silva. Once linked with Barcelona and Juventus, Ramsey has under 2 years left on his contract, but no major suitors. Well, at least he's still good for Wales. Number 2, Fraser Forster. Still a very talented keeper, Fraser Forster quietly had a horror campaign in 2016-17 on his return to the team following a serious knee injury. In 2015-16, when Forster played just half the season, Southampton had the second best defence in the league, conceding 33. Mourinho's title-winning Chelsea side allowed just 1 goal fewer, while Pochettino's Spurs let in 53. But last year, with Forster playing every single match, Southampton allowed a whopping 48 league goals, ending the campaign with a goal difference of -7. That meant the England stopper was allowing 1.3 goals per game, despite having Bertrand, Van Dijk and Cedric Soares in front of him. His saves per goal dropped from 2.8 the year before to just 1.3. That's barely better than Claudio Bravo's 1.1 and actually worse than Joe Hart, who made 1.5 saves per goal in Serie A with Torino. Forster also became incapable of catching the ball. In 2015-16, he caught, rather than punched, 93% of the time. That's a better rate than Arsenal's Petr Cech on 91%. Last season, that dropped to 84%, and Southampton ended up conceding 17 set-piece goals. That's the third worst tally in the division, with only Hull and Crystal Palace allowing more. But there is reason for hope. Though Saints have made a rocky start to life under Mauricio Pellegrino, Forster has kept 3 clean sheets in their first 7 Prem matches, is back to making 2.6 saves per goal, and when choosing whether to punch or catch, has caught 100% of the time. Number 1, Jamie Vardy. What a bullet Arsenal dodged when Jamie Vardy turned them down in the summer of 2016. The Englishman was coming off the back of a staggering campaign as Leicester won a title against all the odds, and he looked exhausted by the effort. Every single number declined as Leicester went from losing 3 games out of 38 to losing 18. Vardy's passing had always been poor, but with just 66% success in that magical year under Ranieri, that dropped to 63%, and the England international went from making 1.3 chances a game to under 1. Meanwhile, Vardy's shots per match halved from 3.3 to 1.7. In 2015-16, he was second in the Premier League for shots inside the box on 95. That's level with Sergio Aguero and only beaten by Harry Kane. The next season, that number had fallen to 46, with 20 other players ahead of him. As a consequence, it's surprising that Vardy managed to score 13 in the league, though that was fewer than Josh King, Jermaine Defoe and Fernando Llorente, and it meant he hit the back of the net every 215 minutes. That's a worse rate than Theo Walcott, who netted every 192 minutes. Now 30, Vardy's pace is on the way out, but perhaps he'll have one last good season with 5 goals already in the 2017-18 campaign. So those are our 5 players you think are good but who are actually garbage. Let me know how angry you are in the comments below. Now we've got something new for you to check out. Head over to Instagram and go to FDFC_UK to see our new 11-a-side football team, which is in the offing. And as ever guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.